Oh man, when I first started filming, I always used to like jump up when I'm done and like drag all my everything.
Right. Exactly.
But hi, how's everybody doing? My name is Nico House, host of the political radio show Mikasa and Sukasa, and today I have a superstar right now in the Democratic Party. I call him the Great Hope. He's the competitor of Nancy Pelosi, and going to take California to the promised land, hopefully. I'm gonna let you pronounce it because you know there's a lot of debate. Is it Jaffe? Is it Jaffe? Is it Jaffe? Is it Joff?
I could have some fun and say yes, but I won't. It's pronounced Jaffe.
When they say so and so is the winner, what are they gonna say?
Jaffe.
Jaffe. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I genuinely appreciate it.
So I guess the main question what I like to ask people is, what made you decide to run?
It was a combination of things. The first thing that made me run, and probably the biggest factor, was I was tremendously inspired by Bernie Sanders. I worked hard for him, gave him money. Eventually, I was recruited by the national campaign, and I was sent from my home in San Francisco to Nevada to help legally supervise the Nevada caucuses, which, as we now know, were chaotic. That's a separate interview if you want to talk about
definitely
what happened there. And so that was the first thing, inspiration from Bernie Sanders. The next thing was a little anger over how he was deprived of the nomination. As far as I'm concerned, he won the nomination.
Absolutely.
And was essentially cheated out of it by a number of things. Primarily among them is the existence of superdelegates, which my platform proposes to abolish immediately.
Awesome.
Superdelegates are undemocratic with a big D and a little.
They were specifically created to stop people from Bernie Sanders, like what Bernie Sanders wanted.
Well, they were created in 1972, probably before you were born.
By
George McGovern.
George McGovern and Tad Devine.
Yes. And when George McGovern got the nomination, the Democratic Party regulars didn't like it, so they devised superdelegates as a way of saying, how can we make sure this never happens again? And it obviously worked in 2016. So I was upset about that. And then finally, on November 9th, when I woke up of last year and I see that Donald Trump was elected president, I got over my state of shock, and I thought about what had happened and how Bernie had said, don't just talk about it, do something. Run for office.
Oh, Bernie said that to you?
Not to me personally,
but he pretty much said to the rest of the world. Yeah, definitely.
And I took him at his word, and I am now, because I'm not what I would call a spring chicken. I can't start at the bottom of the political ladder and run for the school board and then step up the ladder. I think I have something to offer from 46 years of legal experience and life experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I am taking on Nancy Pelosi for a whole variety of reasons, but that's essentially why I decided to run.
Have you run into any issues with the Democratic Party because you're running against her?
Not yet that I'm aware of. I think as my campaign continues to gain momentum and raise money and my name gets out there more, I think I will.
I think it's getting out there pretty well thus far.
Yeah, well, I'm not aware of anything formal. If there's stuff going on in the background, I haven't heard of it yet.
We've been pumping you up a lot. We've been in the independent journalism world. Yeah, we've been talking about it.
I've talked to a lot of people on the independent journalism and outside of what's called the mainstream. MSM?
MSM, yeah.
MSM, yes. Yeah. I have, and I'm very grateful for their support.
We're grateful for you, and I think, first of all, I want to say thank you because, obviously I'm 28, you're not 28, and you have a lot of life to live, and you're obviously a very successful man. You could relax, retire, and instead you want to fight for people and fight for justice and make sure that we get this country back on track. And I want to thank you for that. That was one of the biggest things I always said about Bernie. It would bring me to tears, because I'm like, why is he still fighting? Bernie, you've done a lot. Take a break. Go retire. Enjoy your life with Jane. Just relax. And he won't stop. And it's like,
I guess my best answer is, Nico, I don't think I'm wired to do that. I'm just not. I'm just not wired to go out and relax. I like to keep my mind active. I think my brain is kind of like a muscle. If you don't use it, it's going to wither away. And this certainly keeps me alert and up to date on everything.
So I have to ask you because, well, one, because I just have to know, but two, I'm a very controversial person. I do a lot of controversial issues. So my question is, how do you feel about the Russia narrative? Like, how do you think some parts of it are true, none of it's true, maybe all of it's true, and what's your take on the Comey interview yesterday?
Well, that's a couple questions.
Yeah.
I hate to be a lawyer about it here. The Russia thing. I know that there are some people who think the Russia thing is manufactured as a distraction. I'm not there. I don't know yet the magnitude of what's going on with Russia. I do think something occurred.
Yeah.
But I also...
Russia is a superpower. Something is always occurring.
I was very disturbed, for example, by the images of Donald Trump bringing these two Russians into the Oval Office and giving him intelligence. I mean, whether or not there's collusion or not, that's just a disturbing thing to see. I think that we're in June now. I think we're going to have to wait a couple of months and see, and frankly, see what facts come out. As far as what Comey said, I believe him. He may not be my favorite person, but if it comes to a credibility or swearing contest between Trump and Comey, Comey easily wins.
See, now here's my question, because you are a lawyer, and I happen to talk to lawyers a lot, and and probably still am planning on going to law school myself. I feel like Comey was he was speaking legalese. So when they asked him, why did you get fired? He said, I was absolutely fired. I know I was fired because of the Russia situation, which I 100% think that's why. So my next question to you is, why, when they asked him if he believed, because he kept insinuating that Trump had committed obstruction of justice. However, when he was asked, he wouldn't say. So,
well, I think what Comey did, and I think he had a lot of coaching from a good lawyer somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's a good lawyer, right?
I'm not sure. I believe he is. I think what he did, and I probably would have given him the same advice, when you're asked why another person did something, the best answer you can give is, I don't know. You'll have to ask the other person. I'm not in his or her mind. What Comey said was, why were you fired? He says, I believe I was fired for the reasons that President Trump said I was fired.
Yeah,
that's all he knows.
So here's and I would love to hear your opinion on this. Here's my problem with the way it ended. If you have had such damning evidence, like there's so much, claim to have had, why not present it? Why hasn't it been presented? This is a hearing. This is where you finally get them to go, all the way in on an investigation. You have the ability to control where this narrative goes from here.
Right.
Why not present the evidence and say, okay, in the official session, I can present the evidence at this point? That wasn't done.
I think there's two reasons for that. And I'm not making judgments on who's right or wrong here.
I just want to know, as a lawyer, what do you think his process?
The first reason is I think he's being, I guess I'll call it hyper cautious about talking about things that he fears might be classified in public. And that's...
At least somebody is.
Well, all right. Yeah. That's his first reason. And he doesn't. If he's going to make an error on disclosure, make the error on non-disclosure. Don't let it out of the bag.
I agree totally.
The second reason is, I believe this, and I'm speculating, but I'm smarter than I look, and I think I'm right. I think that he has had conversations with Mueller, who he knows very, very well.
Yeah.
And Mueller gave him some guidance on what kind of information he wants out now and what kind of information he wants to hold back as part of his investigation.
I can see
because anybody who watches Law and Order knows when you give the suspect a lot of information, you help him get his answers ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I suspect is going on.
I just felt like on the public forum, because now, especially now, pressure is what causes investigations. Pressure is what gets things done, and he had a position to put a lot of pressure on both sides of the House to, to put this investigation in full force if there was something to be found. And I feel like and this is just me, I feel like he squandered an opportunity.
Well, I don't know if he squandered it, but he didn't do it. There is a lot of pressure on him right now. What I found most interesting about the testimony wasn't Comey's. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Well, these 4 guys the day before, the 4 intelligence chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Who made a lot of refusals to answer questions. And the lawyers on the senators on the Intelligence Committee, a lot of them, or most of them, I guess, are lawyers.
Yeah,
And some of them are good lawyers. And they asked these guys the right questions, which was, well, you refuse to answer. Tell me the legal basis or ground on which you're refusing. And of course they do. And the guy said, I don't have one. And he said, that's just what I feel. And the senator said, I don't care what you feel.
Oh, wow.
Tell me the legal basis.
Yeah.
And those guys look terrible.
Oh,
I mean, those guys look terrible.
So now that's why I'm glad somebody like you agreeing with me, because I want to get back to you. Policy-wise, what do you want to see done? What do you think is possible to get done, and what do you want to? Just gotta try to give us a picture of what you're going to be advocating for while you're in California.
Well, that's a very open-ended, long question. I can talk about.
I know there's a lot.
I can talk about a couple issues here.
Yeah, definitely.
Leaving Trump's problems aside, which is a whole different discussion. The big issues now are healthcare is still a big one. I am a strong advocate of single-payer healthcare, also known as Medicare for All. I think it is really misunderstood by people who oppose it. Really misunderstood.
There's very few. I think that even still, there's only very few people that oppose it.
Yeah, well, I'm being surprised by the number. When I hear Ms. Pelosi talking, she speaks these long-winded answers that are just virtually gibberish.
It really is.
Word salad. She starts out by talking about what she did back in the 1970s, walking around carrying a sign for single payer. Of course, that was 45 years ago. It's a very long time ago. Then she talks about we have to fix Obamacare. Well, how can she not know Obamacare has been repealed? There is no Obamacare. Then she talks about, I like what's called the public option, which to me is more gibberish. Public option to what?
No, there's no.
What's the other option?
No, it should be a single payer, and if anything, a private option to keep the government in check and keep the.
And when she's really pressed hard, she finally says, "I'm against it because it's too expensive. Let's talk about something else."
Yeah.
I mean that's.
It's not expensive.
No, it isn't.
It's really not. We have. Not only is it not expensive, but we are the best equipped country in the world to make the most efficient healthcare system this world has ever seen.
And we are the only developed country that doesn't have it. And the other countries that do have it, their citizens are healthier and they live longer. And their infant mortality rate is better than ours.
And they're more productive as well.
Yes, and they're more productive, they make more money for working less hours. So how do the opponents of single payer explain that?
Single payer is even stopping business growth because you have to buy health insurance for your employees, and it's not like they opt in and then you buy. You have to buy it, and then the government subsidizes based off of their income, but they still have to buy it. And if they don't, they're penalized individuals, but the businesses still have to buy insurance.
Right.
Because they buy it in groups, like PPO program. So you essentially, and I said this, I was like, Obamacare is killing the middle class. Because when you're making $30,000 to $40,000, but you have 2-3 kids, you're paying what for a family plan? $700-800 a month.
Yeah. The reason Obamacare is, and I'm no expert on this, but my opinion is the reason Obamacare is having a difficult time is because it's a blend of essentially two fundamentally incompatible systems, which is it's kind of a hybrid of part single payer, part private insurance.
And it doesn't work.
And
it can't
they're
work.
trying to.
It's a paradox.
Well, they're trying to put a square block into a round hole. To put it, to put it another way.
Anytime you give a private industry that's a type of control over some, because it's every industry in America. If we need it, it's vision, same thing.
Yes.
Glasses are $250, and they cost what, 50 cents to make?
Yes.
It's like a 255% profit industry.
Yes.
Because we need it. It shouldn't be like that.
Single payer should help take care of that. Vision and vision, dental, and medical.
Important.
Yes.
It's underrated
Exactly.
how important it is. So
exactly.
I don't want to hold you up any longer. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, look, again, it's tied up. There you go.
It's tying me up.
Thank you so much. And like I said, thank you once again for I know you probably hear it a lot. Thank you for taking the time out of your life, to do this for the people. There's not enough people who do this for the right reasons. And
well, I'm doing it for kind of a selfish reason too.
What's that?
It makes me feel good about myself.
Well, you should.
Yeah,
you should.
It does. It makes me feel. I've always tried to do the right thing, and aside from the obvious reason, doing the right thing is the right thing to do. It helps people who do that feel better about themselves. They don't have to.
And it helps you put people in position to be successful and do the right thing as
right,
well.
Right. So I have one question for you.
Yes.
Where's your button?
I don't have one.
Well,
I have one?
We'll fix that.
Okay, cool. You want to tell them your website?
Yeah.
Donate. Do you do individual donations, individual small donations? Do you take super PAC money?
Let me tell you, man. Individual. There are a lot of people who have contacted me and said, Stephen, I'm out of work. I'm really in hard times. I can't give you money, but I can give you my time. And what I say to them is, I understand. I've been there. Send me $1.
Yes.
And make your statement. Go make a record.
Because that's really what it's about.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time.
And
When
so
they can't donate to the
I have many donations of small amounts.
You heard that?
And
as little as $1 to make a statement. Because the statement sometimes is more important. As we saw with Bernie Sanders, the money will come if you're doing the right thing. But the statement is initializing the statement is the most important.
Yeah, obviously, if you're in a position to help more, the more you can help, the better it is for us. But our website is jaffeforcongress.com, and that's with a number 4, not F-O-R, Jaffe, number 4, Congress.com.
Future Congressman Jaffe getting hip using the 4 instead of the 4.
That's right. That's the same name as the Facebook page. All our platform is there, interviews. I write these things called notes every day or two, which are really essays.
Very active on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he's for those of my fans, obviously, I don't know if you know, but I was the person who actually came up with the idea for the DNC frosting. So he's a strong proponent of frosting on Twitter, always calling out nonsense. I don't know, do you tweet for yourself?
No, man, I refuse to answer that question.
Rounds for not.
I don't want to. That's right.
But his Twitter, he's out there, calling out the BS and defending people where it needs to be. And I love that you're so active. Because they show that you're a real person. You're genuine. You're not trying to, look from afar and omnipotent, I guess, or omniscient is the word. You're looking down on everybody.
Know it all.
You're in it. Yeah. You're
condescending, arrogant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're in it. You're part of the storms. You're in. You're in the mentions, calling people out, correcting people, and it's awesome to see that type of energy. And I'm glad. So far your growth is nice. It's coming.
I appreciate your help very much.
Oh, no problem at all. Once again, thank you so much. Go follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Facebook. Donate to his campaign. Amazing guy. You're going to be seeing him, I'm sure, from a bunch of different people. But fortunate enough for us, we did get the first interview with him, and I want to thank him for that. He said they were going to find me as soon as they got here, and he kept his word. So obviously, if he kept his word with me, I'm sure he's going to do the same thing for the rest of California.
Thank you, sir.
No problem at all. Thank you all so much for watching, and always remember, find your balance. Peace.